Hello, welcome to StarCraft 2. I am your host for today, Squallcasting, or just Squall. Squallcasting feels like a bit of a mouthful, so I have started occasionally referring to myself as simply Squall. Now, of course, in this game we do have TSL Polt going up against Asd, the deciding Game 3 of their matchup. And in the last game we saw Asd try some 5-gate pressure. It didn't really work out for him. Polt defended very nicely and managed to kill just a lot more than he lost. And Asd eventually was forced to bow out because he'd lost double the resources of his opponent. And the only time that is acceptable if you're a Zerg playing against a Protoss or a Terran. And even then, you don't really want that. So, yeah, let's see what Polt does. In the very first game we saw, Polt did do just a one-base all-in, didn't even bother expanding. Last game we saw a bit more of a standard 1-max gasless FE, and we'll see what Asd tries this time. But yeah, last game tried that 5-gate pressure. First game he tried expanding, and don't quite else remember what he was going for. Oh yeah, he had a Robo. He was going Robo. And he got an Observer first, which was like the reason he lost the game. If he got an Immortal first and he had more Immortals when the push had come, he probably would have been able to deal with it a lot better. So, quite unfortunate, but that's how it goes. Sometimes in this game, you roll the dice and you just pray that you get a critical success. You get a 20 instead of a 1. Let me tell you a story, actually. Once upon a time, me and my wife, she wasn't my wife at the time, but she was my girlfriend. We got together with a friend to just play a friendly match of D&D. And there was one other friend, I'm not going to name names, to protect her privacy in the event that I become very famous, but in any case, we decided to do some D&D, right? So we weren't really following any specific rule book. My friend was being the game master and was running things, and like he knew the rules well enough, and he just like varied things that, you know, just weren't interesting or he didn't really like, and I was fine with that. But in any case, it was a disaster. Like, everything was going wrong, and he was having way too much fun because he was being incredibly punishing on us. And at one point, there were these zombies chasing us that we couldn't kill. There was this black substance that we couldn't kill. Like, we tried attacking it, would just kind of absorb everything, which was really unfortunate. And so we'd fled. We'd found this town, and there was a wizard there who was able to brew these really good potions. And we were like, okay, we need to convince this guy to help us, right? We need to convince him to give us some potions that will help us be able to fight these things a bit better, right? And so we try to convince him, we fail. I'm playing as a paladin, so I have like really high charisma, and I roll like a 5. It's just not quite enough, right? We're just like, oh, this is awful. Okay, that didn't work. What do we do now? Okay, well, we're going to try to steal the potions for him. And you, Squall, I almost said my real name, although you know what it is, it's Richard. My Twitter's right there. But anyway, so they're like, so Ricky, you need to distract him while we steal these potions. And that should be pretty easy. You have really high charisma, because you're a paladin. All you have to do is roll a 3, and it'll be fine. So I'm just like, no big deal, I can do this. Asd doing a little bit of an attack here, but back to my story. So I'm like, okay, no problem, that is totally easy, I can definitely do that. I roll, and I get a 1. Yes. Not just a failure, but a critical fail. At the worst possible time. We needed this thing so badly. And I rolled a 1. And like, if I rolled a 2, like, I could have talked my way out of it. But instead, we just pissed him off. This wizard was chasing us. He was attacking us. In the process of trying to escape, we accidentally set the, his potion laboratory on fire. So now we were running from zombies, this black gelatinous substance that absorbed everything, and also a really pissed off wizard and all the townspeople because their town was burning down. So yes. Ugh, I hate ones. Oh, critical failures. Anyways, let's get back to this game and analyze what's going on. Asd is going up to 3 gates and a Robo. Pretty darn typical. Warp Gate is finishing up now. Polt did, of course, go for what I'm very certain was a 1-max gasless FE. And, yeah, this is pretty similar to what we saw in the last game, except that Asd has decided to get a Robo, instead of going up to 5 gates and going basically all in. So, Yeah, let's see what else. So there is a factory going up for Polt. Pretty typical. Definitely wants to move up to those medevacs before too terribly long. 2 reactors building now. Stim is on the way. He has 2 bunkers up at the front. So he's pretty darn safe against pretty much whatever might happen to come his way. Asd, on the other hand, is continuing to build stuff, getting an observer out. So that way he can move all the way across the map here. Using the arrow keys is so slow, and he really wants to see what that mule's doing, so he's rallying right on top of it. Yeah. So both players are playing quite passive at the moment. Not too terribly unexpected. Polt does have a starport coming down now, so we'll probably see that pretty typical 10-minute medevac push, where as soon as his first 2 medevacs are out, he will push across the map and... okay, tech lab. So, not going to be the standard 10-minute medevac push. I'm not sure why he's making a tech lab. This is very interesting. Typically, on the factory, you would see a reactor, and then you move the factory off of the reactor, and then the starport goes and moves onto the reactor. So, are we going to see a Raven push? Ravens are pretty good. Point defense drones are awesome. Or we might see some Banshees. I'm not sure how good of a Banshee map this is, just because you don't really have a lot of angles you can come in and be super safe with your Banshees. And Asd is going to see this, is going to take a look at his vision so we can see what he's thinking, and that way I don't have to work. And oh, never mind. I'm not paying attention. The starport went onto the reactor after all. The barracks switched onto the tech lab, and now he's making Marauders out of it. I was just like, what's going on? I've never seen this build before. Is Polt going to unveil some sort of crazy new build to us? What's happening? But no, it's just medevacs. And yep, he's unloaded all those bunkers, and he's going for it. He is ready to bring the pain. Asd is getting ready as best he can. He's throwing down a photon cannon. Clearly a little bit concerned about this. Armor is going down, but man, he doesn't have a lot of stuff. He's making more gateways. He does have 2 immortals now, so that'll help a fair bit. And wow, he stemmed those Marauders to run forward. I guess he just wanted to check if there was a trap. He took his lessons from Admiral Akbar, and that he never wants to be trapped. And Asd definitely knows this is coming, thanks to those observers. That observer that just got murdered. And spreading his sentries out quite nicely. He's ready to force field. We'll see how this goes. And wow, force field's going down just a little bit preemptively. And oh, loses a single sentry for absolutely nothing. Polt takes the kill and is happy because he didn't lose anything in the process. And here comes the factory ready to soak up some shots. Asd has managed to warp in some stalkers now. +1 has finished. And looks like he might be going for it. Oh no, losing the immortal so quickly. That was such a terrible mistake to move down the ramp. The photon cannon is helping quite a bit. But Asd has definitely lost more than Polt so far. And Polt just has such a durable army. Wait, did he get the medevac? Looks like he got one of the medevacs. Okay. He has 2 more there. But here we go. Stalkers. Looks like they're ready to check if there's any medevac behind the elevator. And Asd, wow, he's really concerned throwing down another photon cannon. But you know what? If you're worried about dying, photon cannons are good to get. And not sure what Asd is doing with his spread there. He's kind of got his ults in the back. That's a little bit awkward. And stemming forward, picks off the cannon. It doesn't do too terribly much. That was not the best position building of all time. And still just poking back and forth. Polt is content to just burn off so much sentry energy. And they are even on workers, but Polt does have mules, so he is definitely ahead. Asd is starting to get a pretty decent force, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to deal with +1 attack bio. That said, though, Asd does have +1 attack and +1 armor, so he's actually ahead in the upgrades. But, oh, is he going to lose another immortal from that thing? Oh, there it goes. Yep, that's very sad. And Polt just continuing the aggression. The factory's content to just sit there and take it like a man. That factory pile is just like, we can take this, guys. We're building. We're strong. But, yeah, Polt just continuing to dart back and forth, deal damage. Take a look at the unit resources lost. Asd has still lost more in resources than Polt. And Polt's doing a good job of just kind of chipping away his opponent without losing too much with this very, very resilient and powerful bioforce. Asd tries to get a probe out, but it doesn't work out. I'm assuming he wanted to try to maybe sneak a pylon over here so that way he could do warp-ins, but that didn't quite happen. Polt stimming forward once again, trying to pick off a few more units. Asd not force fielding yet. There's some force fields, not very good force fields to be honest. And this Zealot's like, my life is over. I'm not going to sit around and watch my friends die. So he just charges into the loving embrace of those Punisher grenades. Oh, that Zealot was a little bit special. But here we go. ASD looks like he wants to push. +2 armor, not done yet. He doesn't want to engage until that's done. But it looks like he's going for it anyways. Some force fields going down, not trapping anything at all. +2 armor does finish. Does Polt have any upgrades? He has 2-2 on the way, but they are a ways off. +2 attack is finishing soon as well. So ASD will have a significant upgrade lead very soon. That will help him a lot. Oh, he's attacking the rock. Not sure why. Oh, he's in such a difficult position here. It's so awkward. Polt isn't coming all the way up the ramp, and so the Zealots aren't really able to do that much. But here we go. Looks like we finally have a big engagement. Blink is done, so he moved all of his units. Force fields went down. He's killed quite a bit of stuff. It's hard to say. Polt's army is getting thinned out pretty decently, and ASD's is very durable with that +2 attack. Stalkers blink down, picking off so much stuff. Starting to pick off some medevacs too, and it looks like Polt is forced to retreat. And ASD has still lost more in terms of resources. Blinks forward, gets punished for it, but the Immortals do arrive to help out, and wow, Polt is losing quite a few medevacs now. That is definitely no good for him, and ASD is starting to equalize in terms of resources lost. He just continues to push out across the map. I feel like he may be overextending himself just a little bit now, though. He is putting down a forward pylon, so he will be able to reinforce. And Polt, such an intense battle here. The sentry is out of energy, though, and I think that's going to be ASD's cue to fall back because he does not have any Guardian Shields left, and that's so important for making the damage output from that bio just a little bit more manageable. But looks like he's going to put down another forward pylon as he warped in any more sentries. Yes, he has. That is good. That will allow him to continue to force field and get those Guardian Shields. Keep himself alive just a little bit longer. But all that said, all that aggression allowed Polt to get a third up and get up to 72 SCVs. So ASD is definitely behind in the economy war and supply too. And here we go. Another big engagement. There are no Guardian Shields available, just some force fields that don't accomplish too terribly much. ASD forced to fall back. And yeah, it looks like he's just going to kind of lose this entire army without doing too much. Pretty difficult position. Polt's units are getting rather low. But man, bio is so good. Polt is microing quite well, picking up a lot of Zealots before they can do too much. ASD is still trying, but nope. GG's out of the game, and Polt decides to stay in the game for a victory celebration of killing stuff, but does quit before that Stalker gets hit by those grenades. Oh, that was an intense game. I did quite like what Polt did there. He just danced back and forced force fields out of his opponent, and then just expanded behind it and got an enormous economy lead. And by the end of the game there, he was more than double his opponent's supply. So well played by Polt, taking all 3 of the games in this set. And yeah, Polt showing us why he's a very, very good player. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I've done so much casting this morning. This is like my sixth. I've done a lot of casts this morning. But it's been really fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And I will see you guys in the next video.